Hello, my name is Diane, and today I want to talk about what's on my September TBR, all the books that I'm hopefully going to read in the month of September. Keeping it pretty small again this month. I want to leave myself some wiggle room in case anything just comes up that I wasn't expecting to read, in case my mood changes, in case I just don't have as much time to read as I'm hoping to. I've been reading a lot of newer releases recently, so this month I want to get back to some of my owned books that I haven't read, some series that I've been in the middle of and just haven't prioritized. I'm really only in the middle of a few series right now, which is why I haven't paid much attention to them, but I'd like to get back to them. And I also have a couple advanced copies of books that I would like to get through even though they don't come out for a while. So I'm not going to talk too much about those, but I do want to just get them read so I don't have to crunch to read them right before their release. So the first couple of books are books that I own and just have started but haven't finished for no reason at all, because I own them and I can read them whenever. The first is The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. This is the second book in the Kingkiller Chronicle, continuing Kvothe's story. I've read about 200 pages of it already and just set it down indefinitely, so I'd like to finally finish that and see what happens. I've heard a lot of mixed things about some of the things that happen in this installment of the series, and the third book isn't out, so I don't know when I'll even get an ending to the series, but I'd like to at least finish up this book. The other book is The Vagrant by Peter Newman. This is the first book in the Vagrant trilogy. I again started this book. I don't remember exactly how far into it I got. Not too far, but far enough to get through the setup. And I was enjoying it well enough. I just set it down to prioritize other things that I didn't own. The story follows the main character, who is known as the Vagrant, and he is delivering a sword somewhere. And he has a baby with him for some reason. That's about as far into it as I got. I don't really know much else about this book or the series as a whole, but since I started it a while ago, I'd like to finally finish it. And then two other books I started and then just didn't have time to finish, so I'm hopefully going to finish them this month. One of those is Empire of Exiles by Erin M. Evans. I read the beginning of this and just didn't have time to finish it because I was reading other things at the time. Empire of Exiles is about a scribe who is tasked with collecting specific items and ends up witnessing a murder, and no one really believes him about it or will listen to him, and gets involved in that and some other political things that may be going on. So hopefully I'll get to finish that this month. And the other one is Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. I honestly don't know if I'm going to finish this one. I read the beginning of it. I didn't love it, but I don't feel like I got far enough into it to get a good enough feel for it to decide if I want to finish it or not. But I want to give it a fair shot. So I'm hoping to at least get a little further into that, even if I don't read the whole thing. I'm just not certain it's going to be for me. Dragonfall follows the last male dragon who comes through the veil to save his kind, and in the human world, people once revered dragons as gods and worshipped them, and now he must befriend a thief and use her to his advantage. Sounds like it could be really interesting. Not sure how connected I was feeling with the characters from what I did read from it, so I don't really know how I'm gonna like this one, if I'm gonna like this one, but I gotta get a little further before I can decide that. I'd also like to read Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. This is the first book in the Live Ship Trader series, which is the second series within the realm of the Elderlings. I read the Farseer trilogy already and I really enjoyed it, and I've heard even more good things about the Live Ship Trader series, so I'm really excited to finally get into it and get a little bit more of this world. Live Ship Traders follows a character who lives on a ship, and in this world there are ships made out of a certain type of wood that when 3 generations of captains die on board the ship quickens and basically becomes sentient. I don't really know what the main plot within this book or this trilogy is, but it sounds really interesting. I've heard good things about it, and I already know that I like Robin Hobb's other story within this world, so I'm hopefully going to really enjoy this one also. And I'd also like to read Odd Interlude by Dean Koontz. This is book 4.5 of the Odd Thomas series. It follows the events of book 4 and of course takes place before book 5. So I don't think it's an official full book within the series, but it is chronologically a part of the series. Odd Thomas is a book that I read, I think in high school, and really loved it. And I continued with the series, but just kind of fell out of love with it with each installment, and eventually thought maybe I should just love the first book and give up on the series. But I keep thinking about it, and I just want to finish it. I already read 4 of the 7 books, so I think I'm going to use this interlude book as a way to gauge if I actually want to finish the series or if it's time to just let it go. I do still really like the first book, which is why I keep hoping each next book might bring me back to that. Odd Thomas follows Odd Thomas, who is the main character. He works as a fry cook in a small town, and he also has the ability to see ghosts. So recently deceased ghosts will seek him out, and he assists in solving their murders. He can also see things that tell him that something terrible is coming. So he kind of has a sense of when a major bad event is about to happen, but he doesn't necessarily know what it is. The ghosts can't talk to him at all. He can just see them and try and follow them and interpret whatever they're trying to let him know. As for the advanced copies that I have, I'm not going to talk too much about them because, like I said, they are a few months out for each of them, but I have System Collapse by Martha Wells, which is the 8th installment in the Murderbot Diaries. I've really enjoyed this series. I pretty much binged the whole series as far as it was out and have been keeping up with it since. So I'm really excited to see where this next installment takes us. This doesn't come out until November though, and the other one doesn't come out until January, and that's Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands by Heather Fawcett. I was very pleasantly surprised with Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. I'm not that into fae stories typically, but I think it did it really well and had really interesting characters, and I liked the way that the story unfolded, so I am looking forward to seeing what Emily Wilde gets up to next. But it doesn't come out for a while. I just want to get caught up on all of my advanced copies that I have, so I don't have to wait until closer to the release date and then realize I don't actually have enough time to read them and then stress about that. I like to just have them read early so that when the release date comes up, I'm ready to talk about them and don't feel like I've wasted an advanced copy by not actually reading it in advance. So that's everything I'm hoping to read. If I have time, if my mood changes, this may not be what I actually end up reading, of course, but this is what I'm currently planning on. Let me know what you're most excited to read in September. That's all for me today. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.